kind. So very.
Hey, what's up? It's Chronic.
And Dabs.
And it's another episode of the Kronnoisseur.
It's the Kronnoisseur with Chronic and Dabs.
Showtime!
Bringing you up-to-date information on the medical cannabis industry, cutting-edge products, and reviews of the latest strands from local growers and dispensaries. All in one place at thekronnoisseur.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Once again, Chronic and Dabs here, and we've got some special guests from the Bud Brews Festival. We've got Jasmine and Lou, who are going to be putting on this amazing event that we are lucky enough to be involved with. Jasmine, tell us a little bit about why you decided to put on this festival.
Well, just the whole recreational legalization. I got the idea, so I just thought it would be a fun time and good time to educate the public on just cannabis.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's your experience in cannabis use? Like, how has it improved your life? What ways do you use it to, get on with your day-to-day,
Well, it helps me relax. Mostly before I go to bed, I smoke, and just helps me pass out a lot easier. So.
Now, you're also involved in some other downtown events. Tell us more about that.
I started the Reno Aloha Festival last year.
Okay.
That one's next month, August 26th in Wingfield Park as well.
Very cool.
So it's a free event, and everyone should check it out.
Aloha. Yeah, there's some kind grinds, man, and some really dank buds that grow on those islands out there. They got the right kind of humidity and temperature almost year round. So, Lou, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a bit of a nerd.
What kind of nerd? We nerd out big time. Me and him are gaming nerds.
Definitely love anime, Star Wars. Do play a couple video games. Kind of into Star Trek, but don't know too much about it. But yeah, I'm definitely an anime nerd, and also I'm fond of books. So.
What's your favorite anime?
That's really hard.
I know it's hard.
So hard.
Death Note here.
Do
Okay.
enjoy Death Note.
I enjoy Death Note. What do you like about Death Note, Dabs?
Just everything. It's just super intense, and it just keeps you into it every single episode. It's just all around really good show.
We were discussing before we began filming how disappointed you are in Netflix's rendition. Tell me a little bit why.
This is gonna sound kind of like dickish of me, but American versions or American live actions of anime have always been kind of mediocre and.
What did you think of Ghost in the Shell? Yeah. But it's Scarlett Johansson. She can sell anything.
Don't care if she could sell anything. They should have gotten a different actress. Like the chick from Pacific Rim would have probably
been great.
made a perfect Major, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah, Major Kusanagi or Kusanagi
they
needed to
just
be
chose
Asian.
someone else. And
Well, I mean, they
it's
kind of wrote it into the story to make it a little understandable, I
Yeah.
guess. The way they harvested the brain and then put it into a completely cloned body. But I don't know. I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
So what other stuff do you like to nerd out on? Anything cool?
I will occasionally play video games like Castlevania, Lords of Shadows, and then.
Speaking of Castlevania, Netflix has that new Castlevania
Yes, I
animated
watched
series.
That was sick.
Gory.
It was gorgeous.
I've only watched like one episode, and because my kids, when they're around, so I only get to watch that kind of stuff when they're asleep. And it's pick or choose. Do I watch gory anime or do I watch Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones.
It gets pretty good towards the end of it. Like I've watched it at least 3 times now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Can't wait until more episodes come up.
Very nice. Well, now the Bud Brews Festival is going to be happening in September on the 21st? Third. That's right.
Yeah.
We've already been partaking a little bit, so, forgive me if I've got my numerical dyslexia kicking right now. Tell everybody more about the Bud Brews Festival. I mean, you've got some great music. We were just talking about that. Dabs, you've got a favorite band you can't wait to see.
Yeah, Tribal Theory.
Why do you like Tribal Theory?
Because every single one of their songs is just super catchy, and they're all around good dudes. I met them while I was working at the knitting factory about 2 years ago. They were just super nice dudes, very humble. They were very interactive. They actually wanted to talk to me. Like, it was just cool. They just made me feel like they actually gave a fuck.
Yeah. It's true. And when you got band interaction, when it's like, weak band interaction, it's no fun to go see them after that. You're like, eh.
Yeah, I saw them 2 years ago as well, and so the headliner was Rebel Soldiers, and I've never seen either of these bands.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw Tribal Theory come on, they had so much like energy, like you can feel it. Like I like bands like that.
I agree.
Where it's just like feeding off the crowd. The other band, they are a good band, but I didn't feel the same energy with them. So I would say Tribal Theory stole the show that time.
Now, tell me more about the Bud Brews Fest. What are we going to be doing there? I know it's going to be a non-consumption event, which because it's in public property, the current state laws say that we cannot currently consume cannabis in public. We have to do it on private property. Yeah. So it's about education for the most part. But what is it about for you? Why did you want to put this festival on?
Well, I just there's just so much growing. The whole cannabis industry is growing like constantly, so it just seemed like a good opportunity to get the public in the know about the cannabis industry while it's growing, and the recreational just got legal here, and people just should be aware of everything.
Yeah, we're going to cover all the logistics and the legal stuff, and we're going to play some fun games. We're going to be giving away some swag. We got some good stuff to do while we're out there. The other thing, I mean, we've got some great bands, like a huge lineup, like 14 bands, 3 DJs, somewhere in that lineup. So it's going to be an all-day event. The tickets are already on sale at budandbrewsfestival.com.
Yes, Bud and Brew Music Festival.
Musicfestival.com.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So then, what else we want to talk about?
Oh, you guys are our official MCs.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get up on stage and make a fool of myself. It's going to be so much ridiculous fun. And I've already been thinking of some great games we can play, like pin the joint on the stoner,
Fine.
I want to be the one that announces Tribal Theory.
I'm sure we can make that happen, buddy. All right, so tell us a little bit about the tickets. What all can people expect to get from enjoying this? Not only are we going to have some local craft breweries that are going to be kicking down some amazing beer, and shout out always to my homies over there at Revision Brewery over on Rock Boulevard, because it's like one of my favorite spots to be. And we've also got a ton of dispensaries that we're currently working on locking down so that we can get them out there, hooking you up with swag, talking about their insight on why they're in the business, the things and the reasons why they wanted to be in the cannabis business on the ground floor. Plus, you can pretty much get yourself signed up for recreational use, and then stop by the dispensaries on the way home and partake. So that's my plan for the day, anyways. I think I'm probably going to eat a big old brownie before the day, though.
Oh, yeah.
Get an edible so that it'll just let me cruise through the rest of the event.
We can split a Dixie root beer.
That's true. Dabs is actually working over at Reef now, by the way. I want to give a shout out to everybody over at Reef. It's been a blast hanging out with them and enjoying some of their products as well. I'm going to actually digress to Dabs to tell us a little bit about some of Reef's products for a minute, and then we can kind of go around and talk about our favorite strains and, give a shout out to any of the dispensaries that you've been going to. And, yeah. So let's start with Dabs. He's been working at Reef.
Hi, guys. I'm Dabs, like he says.
Hi, Dabs.
I do work at Reef Dispensaries in Sparks, the one on Glendale Avenue, not the one in Sun Valley. And we do carry a lot of exotics, like, all of the burners, cookies, Platinum Girl Scout cookies, sherbet. We carry Wiz Khalifa's Khalifa Kush. We've got some of Riff Raff stuff like Leg Lock, Red Carpet Kush. I mean, there's just so much that we have to offer. Anything from the Evergreen Organics. Big shout out to Evergreen Organics. They have amazing edibles. And Dixie, like I said, those root beers are amazing. They make cool mints. I mean, just anything and everything you can think of. And the atmosphere in Reef is just, it's so different than any other dispensary I've ever been inside. I don't know, you feel welcome. I feel welcome. Even though I work there, just the staff is incredible. Everyone's pretty knowledgeable about, what they're talking about, because that's why we're all there in the first place. We want to educate you on what you're getting. We want you to have the right product for whatever you're in there for, medical or recreational. We're there for you. And, I mean, ever since recreational hit our store, it's just been amazing. Mm-hmm. The amount of people we've helped already has just been astonishing. I mean, I get cancer patients all the time that are, they're in the process of getting their cannabis cards, their medical cards, but I mean, they still need their medicine. You don't want them to be.
And you guys actually carry the Rick Simpson oil?
We carry, like 4 or 5 different kinds of Rick Simpson oil, and, different dosages, different potencies, everything. We carry tinctures, topicals. I mean, anything and everything you guys can think about.
The reason I bring up Rick Simpson oil is that Rick Simpson oil is an isopropyl alcohol extraction that is then heat distilled so that it evaporates off all the alcohol, and then all that you have left is the full plant extract. The thing is because you have to use heat to remove all of that isopropyl alcohol, you're decarboxylating the THC as you're doing it, which makes it so you're activating it. You're pulling off that carboxylic acid atom, and it allows you to actually use it. You can literally drip it right under your tongue, and within about 10 to 15 minutes, you'll start to feel relief. I've seen actual epilepsy patients that have been, dealing with epileptic issues, take less than a pea, the size of a pea, well, a little bigger than that, because he had been doing it for a while, so he had a little bit of tolerance. But he would take about the size of a pea and let it dissolve under his tongue, and within 5 to 10 minutes, his seizure stopped. It was absolutely amazing. And those are some of the reasons why I'm in cannabis, is as somebody that was diagnosed with ADHD and put on Ritalin and every other type of amphetamine you can imagine as a child. And I hated the way it made me feel like a zombie. Like, obviously, I like music. I'm a creative person. I'm always in artistic fields. And being on that medication, it stole that from me. It made it to where I didn't want to draw. I didn't want to write music. I didn't want to play music. I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to do some of the things that really make my life, in my opinion, worth living. And when one of my older brothers actually was one of the first ones that had left a stash laying around, and I happened to partake some when I was pre-teenage. And I don't recommend that for anyone, And I realized that I enjoyed the way it made me feel, that it helped me relax, it helped me focus, it helped me concentrate on things that I wanted to do. But the biggest thing was the creativity, being able to allow my mind to wander with thoughts, and the things that I would think up were and are still just weird. I like the way it helps me kind of step out of my own head and look at things from other people's perspectives and look at life a little bit differently. I, again, want to give a shout out to Reef, because I've been smoking a lot of their products lately, including the Sherbert, which is a exotic, and it is phenomenal, and that's why I'm a little bit out of it today. We've smoked a couple dubs of that Sherbert, and then you also brought over what kind of crumble?
Some Loud Dream.
Dude, it was loud as fuck. Loud as fuck. And that's the other thing, too. The moment you walk in Reef, it's like that weed smell slaps you in the face. The smell is loud. But it's amazing. Absolutely amazing in there. I also want to shout out not just Reef, but I want to shout out my friend Steve Duke over there at Greenleaf. He's doing some amazing things over there. I really enjoy some of their single strains that only they carry, and they've got some great concentrates. And a big shout out to pretty much all the dispensaries that are carrying the syringes. As somebody that's been smoking cartridges, I hate having to buy a cartridge every time. I like having the refillable style cartridges, and your syringes definitely make it easy to get that done.
See, I'm lazy. I'm super lazy. I'll just throw that fucking cartridge away and get another one. Just twist it right on. All right, good to go.
Come on, man. We got to leave the earth for our kids, bro.
I recycle, Chronic.
Okay, you know what? Taking a hit, blowing it half out, and sucking it back in doesn't count.
It sure does, Chronic. It sure does.
All right, Jasmine, tell us a little bit about some of your favorite strains and where you like to go to get your cannabis.
Well, okay. I actually just started smoking again in March of this year, because I didn't want to wait till recreational. So I got my card.
Technically, recreational has been going since January.
well,
We just didn't have a place to buy it. You would have had to grow it. Exactly.
So I started smoking in March, and just since I started smoking, I can focus a lot more. I have so many more ideas that I can, because my brain, it's like goes everywhere. Like it's always moving, and I'm always coming up with things, and I can't slow it down. And then when I start smoking, I can actually sit down and write it out, like all my ideas. I have so many ideas for different festivals, conferences, conventions, stores. That's crazy.
It sounds like you've got some ADHD that you've been dealing with too. That's kind of, I've noticed that a lot of really creative people have that same thing. It's like, my brain, it won't shut up. I can't get it down fast enough.
Yeah, it's helped a lot with like just focusing and making me tired to go to bed, and I don't wake up like 10 times at night. I just sleep through the night. So it's been nice. I would say I don't have a favorite strain yet, because I'm still kind of experimenting with different ones, but Banana OG I got from Greenleaf a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and it's pretty good. I like the kind of high that you get stuck where I get stuck to the couch, like couch lock.
You like those indicas?
Yeah, I like
the indica couch.
Yeah, so I mostly smoke indica than sativa. I like couch lock because it's just that body high. It's great. So
I like smoking those when I'm coming down with a case of smokaboliosis.
What dispensaries have you gone to as well? What places have you gone to? What kind of experience have you had? Do you enjoy their customer service? Have you noticed a difference since the recreational has begun?
So I actually have not visited any dispensaries since recreational started, because I had stocked up before it happened, and I haven't gone back yet. But my favorite is Silver State. Really,
They've got a huge selection.
Yeah. They have
huge.
It's a huge dispensary. They have so much, and they're practically my favorite.
I really like their dab saps they get from Kind. Those, like, me and Dabs here have been smoking on those for quite a while. They're very terpy.
The MTF one is phenomenal.
Yeah, the Mantanuska Thunderfuck is really good.
I bought some of that from maybe Greenleaf, ATF
and
or MTF. Yeah.
I do got to bring you some of our Island Sweet Skunk sugar wax.
You've been threatening me.
And it's some live resin, and it's insane. It's from Terpex, so big shout out to Terpex. Nice. They do have their shit down when it comes to concentrates.
Yeah, I have not dabbled in dabbing or any concentrate stuff, just vape and flower.
Yeah.
Edibles.
Well, technically, if you're using the vape cartridges, that is a concentrate.
Oh. Well, yeah, I meant.
They're not normally pure concentrate, but they normally extract it as a concentrate, and then they use a liquefier of some type to thin it out a little bit and give you the big cloud of smoke that everybody that does the vape stuff wants, apparently.
The only thing that I really don't do anymore is edibles.
Dabs, do you want to tell maybe a mildly filtered version of your edible experience?
I guess so.
All right, actually, we're gonna wait on that because it's Lou's turn to talk about her experience first, and then we can go around the table and talk about edibles if you'd like.
My experience with it has been a little limited because I do get sick depending on what type I smoke.
So do you prefer CBD heavy strains, light THC? What kind? How do you feel when you say you get sick? Do you mind describing it?
When I get sick, I get really nauseous and I feel like there's throw up in my mouth, and I can't tell if it's there or not. So I'll kind of just
gag.
Feel like I'm very uncomfortable. I also get really dizzy, and if I move, it just feels like I've been thrown across the room, and I'm just
What kind of a dose are you taking when you are experiencing these, or kind of walk us through your average smoke that you would have before you would experience that?
I try to at least just take 2 hits when I'm smoking it. Any more than that, I'm paranoid that I'm gonna get sick. Luckily, I've found at least 2 strains that I haven't gotten sick at all from. That was Banana OG and another one called Jaeger. Nice. So I've had those 2, and they haven't made me sick, even though I've smoked a ridiculous amount.
I'd like to see what the terpene profile on those 2 strains are as compared to some of the other ones that you've experienced, to see if we could possibly narrow down what it is that's causing those.
Thinking. One more time. I said I'm pretty sure it'd be like a higher caryophyllene.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll definitely it's something that we could possibly look into as Dabs and I consider ourselves, somewhat of the garage scientists when it comes to this.
Yeah.
We enjoy kind of trying to help people find a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
So, have you ever used edibles? Do you only experience this when smoking?
No, I've actually experienced it with edibles. I've had a couple. Like, I tried chocolate. A friend gave me a small square of it, and I ate half of it because at first I took a little tiny bite and didn't feel anything. So I decided, okay, I could probably eat half this square. And then like a couple of minutes later, I got really sick and I couldn't move because I was paranoid of moving and just feeling like the world was spinning out of control.
It sounds to me like you were getting high doses of THC and that you need to try sticking with maybe one hit for a bit and get some lower dose THC.
Yeah.
They have some lower dose stuff that's higher in CBD that's actually going to give you a little bit more of a beneficial body kind of pain relief, and CBD is also shown to be very helpful with anxiety.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting the THC, it may honestly help you with not feeling quite so heady and paranoid as well too.
Yeah.
They've got a strain called Harlequin that I've seen that is really tasty, especially when it's fresh.
Yeah.
And it's a very high CBD, and I think it's less than 5% THC.
Okay.
This is a strain that we normally would suggest people that have seizure disorders, the people that have the cancer patients. THC isn't necessarily what you're looking for unless you're trying to get that like heady creativity, or the super couch lock, depending on what the terpene profile is. But the only times I have experienced exactly what you're going through, but it was when I was transitioning from smoking more of a lower concentrated THC. Obviously when we were going through street pharmacists, we didn't have a whole lot of choice over, hey, what do you got? Well, I got this. Okay, I'll buy some. But, when we're getting into the more like chronic back in the days in the indoor type stuff, as Dabs is getting ready to tell his story, I'll tell my embarrassing story. I'm out with a friend. I think it's sophomore or junior year in high school. And we are, what? Yeah, okay. Hi. David, you want to come say hi now that you've interrupted everything? Come here, David. Get over here. Come say hi. We got to introduce our chef. Oh, okay, never mind. He's going to be embarrassed. Going to be embarrassed? Sit up on the arm, Dabs.
Oh, dear.
As he comes in like a bull in a china shop. Dabs, sit up on the arm. All right, so the guy behind the camera, since I want to introduce everybody, this is who I like to introduce as my chef. He is Le Cordon Bleu certified chef David Taylor, or Idley for short. He is working over at the Depot, which is an amazing brewery and what is it? Distillery. That's the word I was looking for. And yeah, he's also the creator of some of the best medicated buffalo sauce I have ever had in my life. Like 6.
He hasn't tried the barbecue yet. Believe me, barbecue's coming.
Yes. Yeah, grab the mic. Get a little close to the mic like you know it, like you're familiar. And tell us a little bit about some of the other stuff that you've made cannabinated.
So I've currently experimented with creme brulees, which is the newest repertoire that I'm going to put out there pretty soon.
You got flavored creme brulees, like tons of them.
Like 18 different flavored creme brulees that are all medicated. And when you get to the bottom, that's where you get the good stuff.
And that's actually going to be a future episode here on the Kronnoisseur. We're going to be doing some edible stuff. I know we've talked about it last year before, you know, kind of the cannabis thing got crazy with the new president and da-da-da-da-da. And legalization is finally kind of found its level ground now here in Nevada. Hooray. So it is time to start showing off some different ways that you can take your cannabis at up to an ounce recreationally, process it into some butter, and make yourself, you know, something that you could make that ounce last you all month. Or if you're like me, you could make it last a few days.
Or one sitting the way he tried it the last time.
I was about to say an ounce. I could go through an ounce in about 3 days.
Well, when you think about it,
that's like 2 months for me.
When you think about it, all right, if you've got an ounce of cannabis at around 26% THC, total beneficial chemical content, you might have 40 to 50%, like between CBD and all of your terpene profile, if you know, decide to process it while it's still moist, which you should if you want all the flavor.
He said moist.
You're still only looking at, out of an ounce, you're looking at maybe 10 grams of it being activated THC by the time it gets in there. But 10 grams, that's 10,000 milligrams. And with the average dose being 100 milligrams, you can see where I'm going, dude. You could make it last you way over a month.
Or you can make it into an edible sauce and just do 3 wings a night to make you relaxed and conversational with your wife or husband at home.
You can't just do 3 wings. That shit is impossible.
He's lying. He's lying. He's lying. You can. You can
you
have
just
self-control.
eat 3 wings?
Not happening.
That shit ain't happening.
Not happening.
Coming from Dabs and Chronic.
All right. Well, anyways, like I was going back to my story now that we've introduced Id, and he can share some experiences.
See you
later. So the first time I really actually smoked some fire indoor hydroponically grown amazing stuff. Of course, you know, I had already been smoking for quite a long time, and I could sit there and smoke 3 or 4 joints, and I'm like, you know, thinking I'm a cool dude. And of course, the joints I was smoking 3 or 4 of normally came off a brick. It was hella seeds and stems. You know, that doo-doo brown that you used to get in a solid brick for like $600. That was just about a quarter of a pound. Or less, you know. Sometimes you could get a quarter pound for like $100 back in the day.
Fuck.
Yeah, hella seeds. Dude, I remember being in high school, rolling up joints that I could go smoke at lunch the next day, and my bird coming down and eating all the seeds and getting high as shit. I had a cockatiel. It was funny. So anyway, hit this 6-foot show-off bong, because of course I'm talking shit like, oh man, I could smoke a ton of weed. You know, of course I've never smoked bomb weed at that point. So a dude pulls out a 6-foot Pyrex bong, and I roast the whole thing. He loaded a big bowl, and I smoked that whole thing and cleared it. And within like 5 or 6 minutes, it was like, do you remember playing on computers back when they had dial-up modems?
Yeah.
Do you remember playing games and all of a sudden it would lag out and you'd be like turning and the screen would go like blink, 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 like it's catching up? It would only do like 1 frame out of 50. That's what my brain was doing to my vision. I remember my buddy was sitting over here and he's like, hey, Clint, are you okay? And I'm all, huh? And my vision went dink, 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 and caught up. I was like, I need to go outside. And yeah, that was one of the very first times that I actually felt drunk from being so high that, I mean, I puked probably for 15 or 20 minutes. I was only 16 at the time, maybe 15. Yeah, I wasn't driving yet, so I had to have been 14 or 15. But it was my first experience with a 6-foot bong, and B, some bomb-ass chronic. And ever since then, I've always kept my bongs like knee-high or lower. Knee-high or lower. All right, Dabs, you had a pretty fun experience about your edibles. I'm not asking you to completely embarrass yourself with all the details, but tell us a little bit about how edibles can get you, even as a professional weed smoker.
Okay, yeah. So I had a pretty fucked up time, to say the least. And my best friend Ed and I went to Tahoe one day. We were just like, let's go get one of those 1,000 milligram edibles and split it. We thought that was going to be a great idea.
500 milligrams each?
Yeah, 500 milligrams a piece, okay? A normal dosage is 10 milligrams. So we took 50 doses a piece.
I was about to say, for me, a normal dose is 100 milligrams.
I'm just talking the normal dose for anybody. Just the average dose.
10 milligrams I wouldn't even feel it, though.
But that's just the general standard dosage, you dick.
I don't know. Not in California, bro. California.
Are we in California, Chronic?
It's
no.
100 milligrams.
This guy. But we went to Tahoe Wellness, and we picked up one of those bars. It was the cookies and cream brownie or whatever the fuck it was.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. And we split it in half, and we're sitting there, chewing it on the way back, and then we're like almost puking as we're eating it. Like, it was fucking gross.
Yeah, it tastes straight up like weed.
It was terrible.
There's so much weed
and
flavor in those
the
brownies.
Consistency of it was gross. It was just like a giant, heavy sponge that you're just chewing on, and it was just the grossest thing ever. And we're just trying to chomp that whole thing down. Next thing you know, we get all the way back to Reno at his house, and we are so fucking high already. And we had a 2-gram blunt that we wanted to smoke. We never got to smoking that. It was just my girlfriend and his sister that were smoking it. They kept trying to pass it to us, and we were just like,
no, man.
No. Like, we're done. And Ed decided to just take me home because it was just getting that intense. He was like, I need to take you home. And I was like, I need to go home. And I get home, and I just pass out. Next thing you know, I wake up about 16 hours later in the morning. I had to go to the bathroom, so I'm walking down the hallway past my roommate's room, and I guess I knocked myself out. I ran into all of his shelving. His TV fell on top of me. I'm unconscious, and all my roommates are surrounding me, and I guess I was ghost pale white.
This close to having the cops or the
they were about to call
called.
the ambulance on me. I guess I was just sweating, and I was just pale white. And I come to my senses. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? And they're like slapping me like, are you okay? You okay? And I'm just like, what is going on? I was high for 4 days. 4 fucking days. I mean, I wasn't even smoking those 4 days. Get that. I was just so high. And one of the days I had to go to work, and I had to tell my boss, I was like, hey, Marty, I haven't smoked in like 3 days, but I took an edible like 3 days ago, and I'm still high as fuck. I don't know what to do. And he just started busting up laughing. It was just...
Well,
now everyone makes fun of me at work for that.
So now we need to make sure that, we put out the disclaimer.
Know your limits.
There are 1,000 milligram edibles that are available for your purchase, especially if you go over the border to California, for those of you like me that have a California medical license. And they are amazing. I have eaten them many times, but I have a very, very high tolerance for all kinds of stuff. I know. The other thing I want to point out is it's a good thing that the two of you that were eating edibles didn't do the driving, so that was good. There's no reason to drive high, and we want to always make sure that everybody knows that as well. But I think I talked about this earlier. I had my father, who has been the staunchest anti-cannabis individual growing up. He gave me a ride to go buy some weed one day. I never knew I needed to put this on my bucket list, that my 54-year-old father was going to give me a ride to the medical dispensary in South Lake Tahoe. But it happened, and it was pretty amazing. So
I would always mess with my dad. Whenever he'd pick me up when I was a teenager, I'd be in the backseat of his truck, and I'd have some weed on me, and he was so against it. And I would just sit there and laugh to myself and just
open it up a little.
Open my containers real quick, close it, and just hide it. You can just totally tell he'd be like...
Did you fart? And that's the other thing that cracks me up. People that haven't been smoking a lot of cannabis, they're like, oh, it smells like a skunk's butt. It's like, well then, dude, line me up a bunch of skunk butt because I want to go smell it. There is something about that dank smell that comes from really good weed that I can't get enough of. I don't care if you say it smells like a skunk. I want to go smell some skunk.
I couldn't agree with you anymore.
Oh, that was crazy. Like, you had 500 milligrams. Yeah,
I literally bought that exact same brownie with my dad at that same dispensary, and then I ate a little less than half, so I probably had like 400 milligrams. And I'll admit that I was really, really medicated for the rest of that day. And I slept like a rock that night, and then I woke up the next morning, and I didn't need to smoke the next morning because I was still kind of high. But by about noon, I was like, yeah, I need to go smoke again.
See, that's why I tell everybody that edibles will never be consistent because everybody's body processes it differently, you know. All of our bodies have a different digestive system. They are all different. You know, edibles will never be consistent. So that's why you got to know your dose and know what you're doing and kind of just you can always add more. You can't take away once you eat edibles. Once you eat too much, you're fucked, just like me.
Well, that is partially true. If you do feel like you have taken too large of a dose, you can force yourself to throw up, and that way it will prevent you from absorbing any more THC, but you're still going to have to ride out the current absorption that you've already had.
Taking CBDs, just pure CBDs, can help balance out your high if you're too medicated.
A lot of people will also tell you go eat, and that's kind of true in that if you eat a lot of bready type stuff to absorb it, that it'll slow down the absorption rate, but you're still going to absorb pretty much all that THC, so you're in for a long ride, and that's why we try to tell you start small.
My ride was half a week, so I mean, know your limits, because I was fucked for 4 days.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of where I want to make sure everybody knows that edibles, if you try to be a show-off, you can often end up face down and not feeling very good. So know your limits, know your dosage. You guys ever had any crazy experiences? Like, I mean, other than obviously you've been dealing with it as well, which is why we brought it up. But Jasmine, have you ever had like a crazy, like, oh my God, I got too high?
The first time I bought chocolate, it's I forgot, maybe Dixie is the brand. So there's 10 squares in that bar, and just one gets me like, or the first time I couldn't move. I was like, don't touch me. I was like, on my bed. I was like, everyone leave me alone. I feel really weird. And it was like all buzzy all over my body.
Mm-hmm.
I could not move.
Yeah, once you eat it, it really processes it different once it goes through your liver.
It's more psychoactive once you eat it.
Correct. Which the way it bonds with the receptors in your brain makes it very, very heady when you eat it. So that's why we always tell people to start low and go slow. All right, now that we've kind of told everybody our experiences about why we love cannabis, why we're here, why we're going to be involved with the Bud Brews Festival, tell us again how we can get people involved, like ticket prices. Give them the whole lowdown. What's the spiel?
Well, you're going to have to go on our website to go get tickets. They've been on sale since 4/20, I think. Possibly.
That's a good day.
Yeah, we launched it on 4/20. Had 4/20 discounts that day, but general admission is $30, I think, and then I'd have to actually look because I don't deal with the tickets parts of it.
Understood.
Sorry. General admission should be around $30. For OG Kush, it's about 40, and then for Granddaddy, it's about 100. Yeah. Well,
and what do those packages entail? The OG Kush and the Granddaddy package.
OG Kush, I think you get a swag bag with it, and then discounts on drinks. You also get discounts on drinks with the Granddaddy and swag bag. You get allowed into the VIP section, and I can't remember what else thank you. All right, so OG Kush, yay technology. So you get to go to late night show with the OG Kush and discounts on drinks, swag bag, and like water. And for the Granddaddy, it's just VIP access, access to late night show, the VIP tent, swag bag, artist meet and greet, complimentary drinks, shuttle to dispensaries, and festival poster.
Ooh, dispensary
you guys
shuttle.
have to check out the VIP area for VIP. We'll have DJs all day, and just in the VIP area, free beer in there, and
Nice.
a lot of fun. So we're getting close to selling out VIPs.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's great.
So if you want VIP, get them now before they're out. So
You heard the lady. If you guys want that VIP access, free drinks back in the members-only VIP area, you better get in on it quickly. They call it the Granddaddy Package because it's the big granddaddy of them all. The Bud Brews Festival, again, budandbrewsmusicfestival.com is where you can go to get all your information, even purchase your tickets. And we are looking forward to seeing all of you out there on September 23rd, Wingfield Park, downtown. So we're going to party it up all downtown, too. Can't wait to see the after party. And, dude, so much good reggae music. Big shout-out to Tracy, the Reggae Shack on 100.1 KTHX. And, yeah, great time, man. Thank you guys for all coming out and telling us more information about what you got going on here at the Bud and Brews Festival. And thank you again for helping make the Kronnoisseur a part of the inaugural Bud and Brews Music Festival.
yeah, we wouldn't have any other way. So
Well, we appreciate it. Thanks again for coming out, and that's going to do it for the show today. Unless, do we got anything to sample, or do you want to just, go get high?
Let's go get high, Chronic.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Once again, thekronnoisseur.com. Find us on YouTube. Find us on Twitch. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. I think we got a Snapchat, but Dabs needs to get his phone fixed because he's the millennial. He's the one that's supposed to be doing all that Snapchat shit.
Well, now working at Reef, it's going to be able to make me.
Yeah, I know, dude. I'm really liking your new income status, dude.
Me too. Trust me. Me too. I'm making like 4 times the amount that I was.
Well, we're moving on up, man. This is a growing industry, and we wish everybody luck. We can't wait to see you again. October. I keep saying October. September 23rd. September.
I blame it on the industry.
I blame it on the fact that marijuana affects the memory. And until then,
The industry.
Dabs. It's Chronic.
And Dabs.
This is another episode of the Kronnoisseur. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Oh, Id says hi, but he doesn't count.